I actually remember I was probably like 8 years old. We were in the old St. Andrew Church with the green carpet up the walls. And that song, Here I Am, Lord. And I was like, oh, God, are you talking to me? And I laughed it off. Like, oh, God doesn't do that. That's just a silly thought I had. And life went on, and my family, some things happened, and we kind of fell apart a little bit. And I made a decision that I didn't believe in God. I wanted nothing to do with him. I really forced my mom to allow me to leave Catholic schools. I really didn't want to be a part of the church. And I went to public high school, where I started making some decisions that my very saintly mom was concerned about. So she said, you have to go to youth group. And she would drive me across the street and sit outside the door to make sure I really went and stayed. And I remember realizing that these people had something I didn't have. They really seemed to like themselves. They seemed to be at peace, but I didn't know how to get it. So for like 2 years, I would show up to youth group and just pretend that I understood what they were talking about, and I was praying and making the right choices, and then go live the rest of the week totally ignoring God in my life. My junior year of high school, I was invited on a retreat, and we were in Eucharistic adoration out in the middle of the woods, and I felt like a lot of shame. I couldn't even look at Jesus in the Eucharist. I was making some pretty bad decisions. So I left. I went out to the picnic tables, started texting my friends, and God in his goodness sent 2 skunks my way. And I really cared about being well liked, so I couldn't be the stinky girl on retreat. So I had to head back inside to adoration. I love that God used my disordered need for other people's approval to bring me back to him. And as I was looking at him in the Eucharist and trying to figure out why I felt this sense of shame, I just felt like a really gentle invitation, not a condemnation, but just an invitation to go to the confessional, to offer my sins to him and to really receive his forgiveness and reconciliation. I'd been really opposed to the sacrament. I just had a lot of hesitations towards it, but Father Dave Young was in the confessional, and I had grown to know him through youth ministry. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And for the first time since confirmation, and really for the first time ever in my life, I went to confession, and I laid out everything. I held nothing back, and I really earnestly desired to be reconciled to God. And I can still remember the feeling Father Dave put his hands on my head to absolve me, and a literal weight lifted. And I received a supernatural joy that carried me into the months to come to make some hard decisions, to really shift the direction and course of my life. Definitely fell and had some mistakes figuring out this life of discipleship, but that was the turning moment where there was no going back. There was no before that I wanted to go back to. I just wanted to pursue Jesus and greater intimacy with him and greater virtue. So that was, the turning moment where I met him and knew that he loved me and that life could be different.